showed up on the internet and talked live, something I enjoy because it's a way to reach an audience, and somehow some of what I do is eccentric in some way. It's different, and so I'm trying to tie it back into what I've the history of my philosophy, and an update of some necessary refinements. And so one of them is that I always impart that, marriage is a way you make life special and oriented around love. And it's time for me to qualify that and say that it's not necessarily the case. It's a personal spiritual marriage, or like a public declaration, and it's the woman taking the man's name because it's why would she want the name of her father? She should want the name of a man that she looks up to as a leadership masculine man. And furthermore, she and he, or she and she, if it's two, a lesbian or gay couple, they should want to, I think, have that masculine feminine element, because I think that's something that helps to further lock in the relationship. But there's also another element of the legal system, and what the legal system does is if you get legally married, is it throws off that balance of one person having the authority to lead the relationship and kind of be the provider. And men want that, and women also want that. And women should realize that if they don't allow for that, and then if they try to make money on their own, it just makes them feel masculine, and it makes them insist on having a man who's older, who's making even more money than them. So it's this, and the worst part of it, obviously, is that it obligates the woman to, and the man to, pay somebody else to raise their children if they have children. And so what the critical juncture is that if you involve the legal system, it gives the feminine or the woman power. It gives them money, gives them power to move. And women don't want that, who instinctually want a leadership man, and they want to follow, and also men don't want that. And it also gives power to people who profit from divorces, the legal system. So that's not good either. So, other updates. Hey, good evening, whoever's tuning in. Okay. And other updates. Let's see. So I'm doing good. I've got lots of work, so that's good news. At least I'm able to I may build up some savings here, and it feels good. And to speak to that, so life should be about living for your future spouse. People say, "What would Jesus do?" or "Live for Jesus," or "Live for something," right? Well, I'm talking about living for your spouse. And the way you do that is by making decisions, financial and otherwise decisions on how to move. And so if you're hesitant on, should I, do this job, or should I charge this much, or whatever, should I work this extra hours? Think about it. What would your spouse want you to do? Maybe they would want you to, maybe not. Yeah. And so use that as a reference. Otherwise, you'll have no guideline, as ships have a rudder that helps them to stay, the course, the specific course, and that direction is what's going to allow you to create a functional marriage. Especially as the this is people who are listening to me, or I imagine the masculine aspect of it. Also, the feminine should know that she works well with a leader, and it's actually courageous to say that. Like, it's not a cop out. It's not being lazy. It's not being cowardly. It's just it's being conscious of how people are naturally built, and so what else? Well, thinking for a moment here. Another re-emphasis on this idea of the healthy boundaries. I had a woman approach me today, like a crazed older lady, drunk, and she actually got kind of too close to my vehicle, and so I could smell her drunken breath. And I should have, for her and anybody else, it's really important to just tell people to stay away, or close your window, or lock your doors. Those kinds of things, and like I said, I'm feeling good. Like, I've been doing lots of work, so making things happen. I'm actually helping to I do lots of handyman work, and I'm helping on this big project, so it's fun. But point being is, so that critical element of, the legal marriage actually gives power to the woman, a power that she doesn't naturally want. So that's why she only the feminine only respects the quote unquote bad boys or people who don't. It's simply people who aren't like simping to her and like will only, you know, who like need this sex. And there's only two ways to do that. You can either masturbate and, you know, achieve your own sense of sexual satisfaction, and that way you don't need it from a woman and you only voluntarily choose a woman. And this is another thing, like you know, the level of selection that you should be wanting is significant. It should be somebody very specific. Somebody who, and feel good about that. Feel good about being selective. Feel good about being somebody who isn't who is like the only one, right? And it's this person who you talk to and you vet them, and it's all the vibration of love. It's all something that you can create together. And so the goal is to make sure, right? The goal is to make sure that that life is good. And it's only possible if you if you work on making it this good life, right? So inviting you to join. I think that's kind of what I wanted to say. But thank you for listening. So just a few small but pertinent updates. And always remember, if you want some of my most current content, you got to go to Team Shieldheart, TikTok at Team Shieldheart, and you know, it's like, oh, and another big thing I've been doing is I'm kind of challenging, or I'm putting to question people who, you know, churches who, are they really, you know, because what defines an Orthodox church, right, is people don't have sex before marriage. They're adults, but they're also in self-control. And so I'm challenged churches that if they're allowing this is really an important part. If somebody's a member, like officially a member, that's this. It's like, then you should be able to hold them accountable to whatever that religion is, right? That's what's good about religion, is it helps people be accountable. If somebody says they're Christian or Muslim, does it mean they're can be loving and trusted and won't try to seduce your biological children, or I mean your you know, spiritual sisters, brothers, or anyone. Like you want to be able to trust people, and what they say, but it's like that's why we need to know if someone just belongs to a church and if are they trustworthy. And so I'm challenging churches individually and asking them, are they are they think I'm asking if they are legitimately um, conscious of avoiding premarital intimacy and taking steps towards that. Like, it can't just be like, oh, you're going to burn in hell if you do it. It has to be talking about the practical aspects of it. Like, I've made I have a lot of ideas on that, like such things as simple as masturbation. Uh, People seem to have this weird idea that there's an addiction to pornography but that's like saying you're addicted to masturbation. Like, if you do it every day for only, like, how long, like 30 minutes, like that's the same as people having physical intimacy, right? uh like within their marriage, like sex within their marriage. And so you should be willing and able to have sex with yourself and use use methods to do that. But yeah, it's all process. Yeah, yeah. So moving forward, that's it. Those are my two key updates. Hey, Saul. Yeah, I'm broadcasting out of Honolulu, Hawaii, in the U.S. And I have a website. It's called shieldhard.org, and I'm all about worshiping women, celebrating them, treating them sacred. And this includes women doing that for themselves as well. But it's hard for women to do that alone. That's why they need to, if they don't already have a viable male guardian or male, they have to make efforts to adopt one, either from a legitimate source like a church or some type of spiritual center where the men are not trying to seduce and have sex with the younger women. And let me speak to that. So when you have a society where the men are, they're seeking out women, whether for sex or marriage, when the women are, say, significantly younger than them, like maybe. And also I've been thinking, like, it makes, like, a man is established when he's like 30, 35, 40. So then what would be an ideal woman for him if he wanted to procreate? Well, if he's 30, then if he gets someone 10 years younger, that'd be 20, 35, 25 years old. So I think 10 years is an acceptable, because we have to keep in mind it's important for women to follow someone, if they follow themselves or follow society or follow uh, manipulative, unloving men, then they end up destroying themselves. But they naturally follow. So you want to, as a society, you want to create an atmosphere for women to be wanting to follow good men, but there's a process to that. And when men start dating women, let's just call it beyond 10 years, excuse me, not even date. See, this whole fucking word dating, it's such a senseless ambiguous word that's meant to mask all the unloving, hedonism fueled sex that people have. That's, sex is supposed to be the defining activity that gets people married, right? And yet it's, they try to say like, oh, it's marriage and legal marriage and a marriage ceremony that's the significant or consequential event. But no, it's really sexual activity. That's what makes you close to someone. And so and of course, it's all about Goddess V. It's all about worshiping the vulva. It's about the guy giving the woman oral sex and making it more about that than about his PP or about her breasts. The PP thing for men is almost this quasi-homosexual thing of men fixating on that. And then for breasts, it's like a baby needs breasts, but a man should be about the vulva. And I don't think a man can be at peace unless he makes it about that. Because if he's always making it about trying to dominate, a woman, even his wife, during sex, that's like this domination, competitive, aggressive energy. And it's fun and playful, but if that's the foundation, then that's just kind of, it's sort of this weak foundation. It's based upon something that there's limited control over. There's limited control over, like it's not something that you're doing consciously. You can't consciously, people talk about being able to have better sex, but really that's, if you're, as long as you're, part of it is, yes, you want to be healthy and you want to be, you want to be, trying to be as virile as possible, but, yeah. But yeah, we're talking about peace and internal peace for men, or the masculine, and that's about Goddess V. You need to be able to look at a woman, whether you're masculine lesbian, or a masculine man, and you need to be able, a heterosexual man, and you need to be able to look at them and ask yourself, would you want to give that person oral sex? And yeah, that should help you to really qualify somebody right away. And so, yeah, I think I've provided a sufficient update as a reference to and remember to subscribe and check out my channel, Team Shieldheart on TikTok. That's at Team Shieldheart on TikTok. And yeah, and also remember to do light work if you haven't done it. You visualize brilliant rays of light streaming through wherever you have problems, whether it's your car, whether it's your place of work. This transcends time, so you just imagine the people were there, like your coworkers or disgruntled, manager, whoever it is. Imagine them smiling, happy, brilliant light just streaming down, and kind of creating this spiritual protection against dark energies. And because people think that devils
are these like characters, but they're really these thought forms. I think they're these thoughts of like negative energy, because that's the source of problems in the world. When people think negatively. And maybe there is a room for that occasionally if you're really having to do self-defense, and or you know, you've got like a people trying to destroy you and you have to destroy them first in type of thing. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, and yeah, more to come, but glad I made a point here to just, you know, just talk and you know, give some hints as to what it means to be careful of the legal world, and that that doing that legal marriage actually gives the woman power that she doesn't want, and gives away the man's authority, because he can't, you know. And does that mean that he shouldn't, if he's a sole provider, give her some money? Like, it's kind of a tricky thing, because it's like, if she has no money, then can she, like, does she still voluntarily want to be there in the marriage? It's kind of this tricky dynamic where, you know, how can it be ensured that yes, the person wants to be there? So yeah, stuff I'm thinking about. It's like, how do you know for sure that the person wants to be in the marriage if they don't have any power or authority to leave or whatnot? And also, if you like my ideas and like the idea of the sacred marriage, and also the celebrating of, you know, the celebrating of Goddess Fee, the vulva, and you've never heard of it before, which you probably haven't, outside of my work, then consider contributing something like $20. I should set up a way to do that. I don't think I have that set up at all, but I'll leave a link, a Cash App link, so you can easily, and a Venmo link, so you can easily send that to me. Because I'll pledge to use that only for, like, on TikTok. Some of my videos have 10,000 plus views, because each 10,000 costs like $50 to buy 10,000. Sometimes 40, sometimes 60, but roughly that. Yeah. But thanks for tuning in, guys. Take care for now. Aloha.